So Commander Masters launches on August 4th, and with it comes 4 pre-con Commander decks alongside of a main set comprised entirely of reprints. There are a ton of valuable and much needed reprints included in this set, and while most of the better cards are occupying the rare and mythic rare slots, we have a lot of common and uncommon cards that are equally as good and deserving of some screen time. I'm not a fan of the price tag of the sealed product from this set in the slightest, and so I highly recommend at the end of the video that you jump over to your local game store or your online card retailer if you don't have a local game store and just buy the singles that we're going to discuss here, if it appeals to you. In this video, we are going to be taking a look at what the best uncommons and commons are from Commander Masters. Palace Jailer will start off our list. This is a 2/2 human soldier for 2 and 2 white. When it enters the battlefield, you become the monarch. When it also enters the battlefield, you exile a target creature until an opponent becomes the monarch. The monarchy is one of the most fun mechanics a Commander game can introduce, and these 2 ETB abilities can make for some fun interactions. If you have something like Elish Norn in play, this will give you double the triggers for these abilities, and this is one of the better monarchy cards in white. Path to Exile is coming up at number 9, and the only reason I've put it so low is that I have noticed it getting a little bit more printing attention in recent sets, and so I do hope this is a trend that continues. This is a 1 white mana instant that exiles target creature. That creature's controller can tutor for a basic land and put it into play tapped. This is probably one of the best removal spells in white, and depending on the context it's used in, the player that it's being targeted on might not have any basic lands to fetch for with that second ability. I think any deck in white will want this card in their removal suite, and so now that it's been reprinted in this set and the previous Lord of the Rings set, we might see a lower regular price for this card, so definitely grab it while you can. Eternal Witness is number 8, and is 1 and 2 green for a 2/1 human shaman. When it enters the battlefield, you may return target card from your graveyard to your hand. Recursion is one of the key components of many decks in our format, and while recently, Noxious Revival has tried to edge in on the Witness's territory, I think this card returning the target to your hand rather than the top of your library is worth the extra mana, letting you reuse it right away. This card is currently hovering around the $2 mark, and so while it isn't super expensive, it's definitely an investment to your library of Commander cards that you shouldn't be without. Stormkiln Artist comes in at number 7, and is a card that I slept on for a hot minute. This is a 2/2 Dwarf Shaman for 3 and a red. It gets +1/+0 for each artifact you control. It also has Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, you create a treasure token. If you're new to Magic, treasure tokens are stupid strong. If you're a Magic veteran, you'll know just how powerful that Magecraft ability is. A lot of Spellslinger and Storm decks are on red, and so having a means to generate additional mana to help you keep up the momentum can give you an untouchable lead. One of my favorite cards, Chain of Smog, can target you and then be copied infinitely, and using the Magecraft ability, you'll generate infinite treasure tokens. And while you might not have a hand left after you're done, you're going to have enough treasure tokens to hopefully win you the game with something else in play. This card has been sitting around $3 to $4 as it's only ever been in Strixhaven, and so hopefully while this card is in print, you can snag up a few copies for your Commander decks. Flux Channeler is at number 6 and is a 2/2 for 2 and a blue. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Proliferate. This card is simple but extremely effective. A lot of game mechanics can benefit from free Proliferate triggers like this. Poison counters, experience counters, +1/+1 counters, loyalty counters, saga counters, all will want a way to proliferate. And the flexibility in triggering this is a lot greater due to it only looking for non-creature spells, which comprise everything that's not a creature. All of your mana rocks, all of your mana ramp, they are all non-creature spells. If you're playing a Planeswalker deck, which is what this comes in from Commander Masters, they are all going to trigger this, and it'll help you really quickly reach those ultimates. Definitely worth picking up. Darksteel Mutation is 1 and 1 white for an enchantment aura. Enchanted Creature is an insect artifact creature with base power and toughness of 0/1 and has indestructible and loses all other abilities, card types, and creature types. This is a form of unique removal that I'm a huge fan of, as it's not quite getting rid of the threat creature, but it's neutering it, it's rendering it obsolete. An opponent's going to have to find some weird way to either remove this card from the field with like enchantment removal, or find a way to sacrifice their creature and then reanimate it, making this a pain to deal with. Destiny Spinner comes in at number 4 as a 2/3 human enchantment creature for 1 and 1 green. Creature and enchantment spells you control can't be countered. For 4 mana, we can make a target land we control into an XX elemental creature with trample and haste until the end of turn, where X is the number of enchantments we control. It's still a land. This presents some unique tech. For starters, it's blanket protection from counter magic for both creatures and enchantments, which in the right context can be game-ending. The second ability in the right deck can make this a win condition. I use it in a number of decks like my Yeva deck to make sure that I don't have to worry about my combos being interrupted by a hero counterspell. Ashnos Altar comes in at number 3. This is a 3-mana artifact. You can sacrifice a creature at 2 colorless mana. This card is run at the core of countless decks. Token decks love this for mana ramp. Aristocrats run it as a free sack outlet with upside. Being a colorless artifact also allows this to be put into any deck, and I would consider this to be one of the best sack outlets in Commander. 3 Visits is our number 2 spot, and while yes, it might seem weird that a mana ramp spell is so high on this list, this costs 1 and 1 green for a sorcery, search your library for a forest card and put it into play. This is essentially a redundancy on Nature's Lore, and the two are without a doubt the best 2-drop mana ramp spells in green. See, we already have cards like Rampant Growth and Cultivate that a lot of Commander decks might look to for their ramp. The downside is that these cards can only target basic lands, making them relatively limited in their scope. Because 3 Visits allows for any forest card, there's so much more versatility that can be found here. This can help you fix your mana should you tutor a Shockland Forest. This can let you get the colors that you need at a pinch. This was also well over $9 for a long time because of it only having a few printings, and so if you're already running Nature's Lore in your green Commander decks, definitely consider this as an additional one. And finally, at number 1 is Exsanguinate, perhaps the most powerful card on this list. This costs X and 2 black. Each opponent loses X life, and then we gain life equal to the amount lost that way. This is a win con in a lot of decks. Should you have a means to generate infinite mana, this can win you the game. If you're low on life, this can help you get back into the game. These are just some of the cards that you can look forward to finding in the upcoming Commander Master set. That's going to wrap up this video for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, likes and shares are greatly appreciated. If you're part of that 95% of my viewers that aren't subscribed, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to make sure you never miss a future upload. Thank you all for stopping by, and I'll catch you all next time.